You know that sound? The one every homeowner absolutely dreads? That sudden, unmistakable gush of water coming from somewhere it shouldn't be. Yeah, a burst pipe can turn your home into a total disaster zone in just minutes. So today, we're going to break down exactly what happens, and more importantly, what you need to do when water damage strikes. Okay, so let's just imagine it for a second. You hear that sound, you run to look, and you see water just spreading across your floor. Panic starts to kick in, right? Do you know what the very first steps are? Because knowing the answer can literally be the difference between a problem you can manage and a complete catastrophe that can cost, on average, over $10,000 to fix. And here's the scary part. Water damage really does strike without any warning. This isn't some slow leak you can put a bucket under and ignore. No, it's a sudden, overwhelming flood. It could be a burst pipe, a backed up sewer, you name it. And as soon as that water is there, the clock is ticking. Mold can actually start to grow in as little as 24 hours.
All right, so let's get right into it. The water's rising. What do you do right now, in this moment? This is all about taking control when everything feels chaotic, and believe me, your first few moves are absolutely the most important ones.
Before you even think about your furniture, your electronics, or any of your belongings, you have to think about your own safety. Water and electricity, that is a deadly combination. Not to mention, unseen structural damage can create all kinds of hazards. So, the number one rule is simple: safety first. Always. The good news is the immediate steps are pretty straightforward. First things first, just get away from the affected area. Keep a safe distance. Second, and only if you can do this safely without walking through water, get to your circuit breaker and shut off the power. And third, and this is huge, pick up the phone and call for professional help immediately. And that call for help, it can't wait until morning. Water emergencies don't really care about business hours, which is why the pros have to be ready to roll 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Time is absolutely your enemy here, so a fast response is critical to minimizing the damage. Okay, so you've made the call. Now what happens? Well, this is where the pros take over. And they don't just show up with a bucket and a mop. Oh no, they have a methodical, step-by-step plan to bring your home back from the brink. The second they walk in the door, their job is to figure out the full scope of the problem. They'll do a really thorough inspection to find the source of the water, see how far it's spread, and then create an action plan. This isn't guesswork at all, it's a calculated strategy. And they come prepared with some serious gear. We're talking about high-capacity pumps that can get rid of huge amounts of standing water fast. Industrial-grade air movers that create this whirlwind of drawing power. And they even have these super sensitive moisture meters that can literally detect hidden water inside your walls and under your floors. So their whole emergency process really boils down to these 3 key stages. First, they assess and plan. Second, they get all that visible water out. And then third, they start the really crucial and often longer process of completely drying out the very structure of your home to stop mold and rot in their tracks. Now, you might think once everything's dry, you're in the clear, right? Well, not quite. Getting things dry is really just the end of chapter 1. The immediate emergency is over, sure, but your home isn't back to normal. Now, the real restoration work has to begin. And this is a really important difference to understand. Think of it like this. Water removal is the emergency triage. It's stopping the bleeding. But full restoration, that's the surgery and the recovery. It's the whole process of repairing, rebuilding, and getting your property back to exactly how it was before the disaster ever happened. Yeah, full restoration is the whole shebang. It means sanitizing surfaces to stop any mold or bacteria from growing. It means deodorizing to get rid of that awful musty smell. And of course, it means repairing everything that got damaged. We're talking drywall, flooring, maybe even structural elements. So everything we've talked about up to this point has been about reacting to a disaster. But what if you could change your mindset from just reacting to a crisis to actually preventing one from happening in the first place? Here's the key. You have to stop thinking of your house as just a collection of parts. Pipes here, wires there. Instead, think of it as a living ecosystem. The plumbing, the HVAC, the electrical, they're all connected. They all work together. And when one part fails, it can send a shockwave through the whole system. And let's be honest, modern homes are incredibly complex ecosystems, right? You've got your basic plumbing and HVAC, but now we have smart systems that can monitor everything. So protecting your home really means making sure all these parts are working together in harmony and that you have safeguards in place. So what does that actually look like? Well, it means installing smart things, like a sump pump that has a battery backup so it still works even if the power goes out. It can mean installing a smart valve that can detect a leak and automatically shut off your water main. It's all about being prepared. And all of this brings us to one final big question. After seeing the kind of chaos a burst pipe can cause and knowing the kind of technology that's out there to prevent it, take a second and think about your own place. Is your home truly prepared for the unexpected?